Good afternoon and Merry Christmas. This is Alicia,
And Valerie.
also known as Grandma and Nana and whatever else we are.
Name.
Name, that's right. We get around. Well, in case you haven't seen one of our videos before, this is Legacy of Love and Laughter. We like to talk about the things from our lives that we want to share with our future generations, and of course, anyone else who finds this interesting,
We
amusing.
may have some helpful hints.
That's true. We may have helpful
We've been
hints.
around for a long time and we've learned a lot of stuff and forgotten a lot of stuff, I'm sure.
That's right. And just thinking of that, we want to remind you, if you like it, click like. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube later. You can subscribe if you want. That way you don't miss any of our videos. And if you have any questions, you're like, what would you want to ask your grandmother, your great grandmother, or any previous thing? Because, that's why we're doing it. Because
Something like, Grandma, where did you get that hat?
Grandma, where did you get that hat? That's funny. This runs in the family. But we have to be very careful because sometimes we don't hear everything. I can't always hear you well.
Because your ears are up here.
Just, I know.
Not down
I
here.
was doing this, but there's this little white ball blocking my other ear.
Oh, you weren't prepared.
Yeah, that's right. These are our elf hats, and we're coming to you from Elfdom.
That's right. Halfway to the North Pole.
That's right. We go any further, we're going to be in Neverland.
They're going to put us in Neverland real quick if we don't stop this nonsense.
All righty. So we want to do for the next 3 videos, Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas future, which can be pretty interesting when you're our age, you know that? So, like we said, we have got some interesting remembrances of the past, the way it was. What is something you would like to share today about Christmas past, Christmas from any time from when we were first experiencing Christmases? It was right after World War II.
That's right. And it was always a joy. It didn't matter what you got. It didn't matter if you got anything. The family always got together. It was so much fun. We'd of course be grandparents. They would have at their house, and cousins would get together, aunts, uncles. Everybody brought something, but the hostess ended up cooking most of the food, which we were very pleased. Polish grandma, how could you go wrong?
Yeah, she never let us do
anything. It was
anything.
really wonderful, really wonderful. It was great to be with everybody. It's such a nice, warm feeling. You don't have to think about being nervous or afraid or anything. It just was nice because we were all together. We all knew each other, and
a real bit, to me, a real good part of that is we did not have family squabbles that I recall.
no, I don't think we were together long enough to have a family squabble.
I guess, but with all the holidays and everything, I don't
See,
ever
I never had
remember
a family squabble. I was the oldest, so I had no
Yeah.
problem.
Well, but I'm thinking about when they show all the movies and all the movies, somebody's got something against somebody else, and it's
I know,
and
it's
Aunt
too
so
bad.
and so is coming, and she's loud and obnoxious, and somebody else is coming, and we didn't dread. We liked to see everybody. We were
We
happy.
were only together a few hours. There was no time to give it up for something negative like that. That wasn't what we did.
No, not but never.
We
that
enjoyed
I
each
can
other.
recall. Yeah,
we didn't really see. We weren't that far away from our relatives, but holidays was what it was all about. That was the most important thing: getting together and eating some of the best food.
We always had good food, unless it was going over to Uncle Andy's.
Everybody has their weakness, you know.
But we weren't even upset about that. It's just that Aunt Mary was not the best cook.
She admitted it herself.
She admitted it herself. She did. I've got, speaking about Mary, I have a very funny story because I think some laughter should be in this Legacy of Love and Laughter. Did you ever know about what Aunt Mary would do when she went to bed in the evening? She'd go to bed early to read.
No.
Well, if she had a box of chocolates, she would take a chocolate and bite into it, and if she didn't like it, she'd put it back in the box.
Oh my.
If
I'm
she-
glad I didn't know that.
Don't we all kind of sort of want to do that sometimes? Ugh. I hate those orange fillings.
Well, I had a friend who used to poke her thumb in the bottom of it to see what it was before she ate it. I guess that's no better, is it?
No, it's not. 'Cause I always check the bottoms. You okay? Is that
I just
okay?
look on the lid to see what says inside the lid. This one's dark chocolate. This one's caramel. You know.
Well, and a big candy part of our Christmas past was chocolate covered cherries.
Oh yeah,
You had to have them, and they had to be made by Cello.
they still make them.
They still make them.
Cello still makes them.
And when we were younger, we had the milk chocolate. And now, of course, it has to be the dark chocolate. And I must confess, we don't have them very often. Maybe once a year. But
Well, Don ended up with a box of dark chocolates. Well, I think about a box of each now that I'm thinking about it. One with the dark chocolate and one with the milk chocolate. And every year somebody would get it for him because he loved those chocolate covered cherries.
And-
He'd eat half a box of them.
And they're good in the freezer, too. You can freeze them. You can freeze them because that's where I put stuff I don't want to eat right away. You know?
They're a little on the sweet side for me.
Yeah, you know what? And it's something that bothers me. Well, first of all, let me finish about the chocolates. You bite into them if you haven't had one, and it's got a little maraschino cherry in it with, I'm totally sure it's the wrong color red dye, and it's got some congealed sugar and syrup.
Yeah.
So
Boy, was it sweet.
you either need to have your napkin right here or a bib or something because you bite into that cherry and it's running down. But those were good.
Especially if it has sweet little mouths like ours.
Oh,
You
yes,
just couldn't
little
pop
tiny
the whole
mouths like
candy
us.
in there.
Oh, no.
Donald had no trouble.
Yeah, whole thing.
right in his mouth.
Now, well, so we do know the trick about putting them in the freezer so you don't eat them all. Take them out you have to ration it, which is sometimes difficult. We have our little Christmas decor here.
It's gift season and people are already bringing us on the other nice little sweets. This is an apple. Can you believe that? That is an apple
A
on it.
caramel apple.
So we're going to test on that later. I just got it about a half an hour ago from a friend and it looks mighty good. And cookies I got last night.
Cookies.
The cookies from everybody should taste these. at once in
This
your life.
is Christmas past.
Yes.
Our mom was the biggest fan of, I hope you can see it frontwards, Pfeffernusse. And they are delicious, kind of a gingery cookie, and they're covered with powdered sugar. So you got to watch out. The evidence will be there too, just
All over
like
the front of your
you know,
shirt.
if you run those cherries down your shirt and then you eat some of the Pfeffernusse, then you got powdered sugar covered drool stuff coming down your shirt.
We don't do that. Really, we don't. She says the word of things.
Do too. And then we have some lovely nuts, candied nuts. You know,
Nuts know the nuts.
do you remember the days when we could eat all this stuff
Yeah,
and never give a thought to a calorie?
that's right.
Man, those were the days. I mean, you know, whatever we wanted, as much as we wanted, we made tons of cookies and candies and ate them all.
But we never stopped running.
That's
We were
true.
going, jumping rope, running up and down the stairs, and then in and out of the hall. We never stopped.
Well, and even as young parents, we ran all around.
Well, yeah, well, that's a whole nother story.
And I don't know how old anybody out there is, but let me give you a little warning. I was fine until I turned 27. It was almost as if it was my 27th birthday. The stuff didn't come off anymore. It came on, but it wouldn't come off.
They used to tell you that when you were younger. Wait, you just wait. You're going to pay for this, you know.
We're on the payment part of it. But
But we like all these goodies, so just because it's so nice of them to give them,
yes,
we have to really appreciate them.
yes.
We weren't going to eat them in front of you, though.
No.
No. No.
No
We're not going to
evidence.
do it. We're not going to do
No
it.
evidence. And next time we do our video, we're going to be talking about Christmas present, but we're also going to be having different food out here. And we may even make something for you, food that
We may
was
not.
a part of our Christmas. You want to have any fun or what? What's up with you? You know? So we were, let's see, I've got notes. I have to check with notes because it is what it is.
She can't trust me because I will run right over the show, and it'll be.
Yeah.
So we have to have notes.
That'll be the day. What we were talking about earlier about pictures and videos, and back in those days, you know, you had to get your films developed. We have very few pictures of when we were kids.
You're right. Right, you're right, because they didn't have a good camera, you know. So if somebody had a Brownie camera, that's what you got. You got that for
Yeah, little
picture
box.
taking. Right.
little box.
It was good enough to have something. At least, you know, you had it. And it was, but to remember to take them to get them developed, and it's
And
another
to get
expense.
everyone in the
And then put
picture.
them where in order, so you know when did we take that picture? Was it 5 years ago? Was it 8 years ago?
You know, and back in those days, sometimes the people that processed the film would put the date they processed it on the back. That was really helpful.
It was.
It was very different taking pictures. What we're doing today with the video, oh my God, we're so happy we can do it. And with AI, it's moving so far ahead of us. You know, we got to take advantage of this is the real us. We're real here.
All of it.
That's true. You get the best. Um, but we had with the little brownie cameras, and then a lot of times you only take pictures outside. Then we got the flash cameras.
And then
And
color.
then the flash camera, you had to put this bulb in it, and you take the picture and it would go, and the bulb had a little plastic coating on it. Because before they got to the plastic coating, you take a picture with the flash. And whoever was in the front row, sorry about that.
Yeah, it was pretty scary.
Sylvania blue bulbs.
But it seemed to cost a fortune. It felt like it cost a fortune.
Well,
You
yeah,
know,
and then
for a kid, it did.
you had to have them
You
developed.
got your brownie. You got your little brownie camera.
That's right. That's right. So now you guys are so lucky. We can't tell you how important it is to take the pictures. And of course, when we moved from pictures to video, and that was very new. I was always way into that, but I didn't do much with it with a family, small kids and stuff. But we did have some good videos. Tell them about our favorite video of our precious sister-in-law, Joyce, coming into the house on
Poor
Christmas
Joycey.
morning.
She was the sweetest thing. She was the sweetest person. She really was. And she would get assigned what she had to cook and what, all this other stuff. Everybody came to my house because that's basically the biggest space and everything. And she was coming with my brother, her husband, and it would snowed. And they pulled into the driveway. And he came around and he opened the door. And then what happened?
She got out with a bunch of packages, and they would just come over the little crest, and she slipped and fell. I know it's not supposed to be funny, but as my mother would say, ass over tea kettle and picture presents flying everywhere. And of course, my father, our father,
nice new little camera
was taking a video.
Video camera.
And in those days, here again, you're going to watch this video right away. Oh, no, not in our days. You had to even take the video film and get it developed and then take it, and you had to play it on a projector. Well, what our dad would do is he would bring up that Christmas video with poor Joycey falling down, and he'd play it frontward and backward, frontward and backward.
Package down, package up. It's just like a little entertaining cartoon. Poor Joycey. She was such a good sport about it, but she was not happy.
No.
I don't think she wanted to come the next year. I don't remember.
She did. We were also talking yesterday about how one of the really important things back in the day with Christmas was church. A lot of people don't go to church. Then you've got we call them the 2 times people. Do you know what that means?
Christmas 2 times.
Nope.
Nope.
They come to church twice a year, Christmas and Easter.
Oh, those 2 times. I get it. I get it now. Yes.
Yeah. So
That's what always made the church crowded, because the 2-timers were filling the church up in our spots when we
they sat in our seats. They did.
They certainly did.
Yeah, you got your
And they didn't even care when you had that nasty look on your face, like, what are you doing in my seat?
Sign a peace. I'm taking hands with you. You took my seat. You know, as a minister, one time I decided I was going to put my congregation to the test. And I wanted to talk about taking a look at things from a different perspective. So we were just ready to start the service. We'd done all the joy songs and everything. And I told everybody to stand up and switch sides of the congregation of the church. So everybody was on the right had to go to the left. Everybody on the left had to go to the right. There were some people that were really upset about that. don't be upset over the holidays. What difference does that make now, this 35 years later, and hopefully that did give them a different perspective. But church was cool, and we'd have Santa Claus come
The
to church.
ceremonies every
The
weekend
ceremonies.
because you were building up to a big event.
Yes, lighting the Advent wreath, which we have here. This is Valerie's Advent
Yes,
wreath.
Sunday in church we lit the joy candle, the pink one,
Yeah, and
and the last one will get done Sunday.
yeah, and I
Christmas
did
is
not
quick.
get my Advent wreath set up this year because I was going to Florida to see Tristan. But sometimes you got to set your
Don't feel
priorities.
bad. I didn't get my tree put up.
That's true.
It's going to be a tough year for me to put the tree up, but I got a lot going on. We had our kitchen painted, and the other room was painted also, and it looks very nice. But everything is upside down. Much as I'd love to have a tree, I think it's going to be hard enough having a tree without my partner with me. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. You'll see. We'll put it in the film if we did.
That's right. That's right. So I think I liked being a kid and getting Christmas presents and everything, but just as much, my kids don't know this, just as much as I like being a kid and getting presents and stuff, I loved being a mom at Christmas time. I know my kids are probably going, that's a lot of poop if I ever heard it, but it was, sometimes you get tense. But we had a tradition where we would make cookies. And when it went well, everybody had the kind of cookies they made, and we had different kinds. And a lot of times it was roll out and cut out and stuff like that.
Decorate them up.
Yeah, we did them one year. I'll never forget. We did it one year where we took egg yolk. Maybe we should be doing this next time. But we'd take egg yolk and we'd stir it up and put food coloring in it. And then we would paint the top of the egg with the egg yolk, which made it like a
cookie.
shiny. What did I say? The
Egg.
top of the egg.
I
I don't eat eggs.
She doesn't do the recipe part real good.
Actually, in my mind, I'm going, wait a minute, we're supposed to talk about that next week.
See?
But I did. I loved it. And one day, Sean was at that age where he'd had enough, and he just like, when I started to take the little pictures and everything of making cookies, he's like, I'm out of here. He might have been afraid I was going to show them to somebody.
I always made my great grandmother's gingerbread cookies or
Molasses cookies.
Molasses cookies.
Yeah,
And they're
that's a
delicious.
must.
It's the only one I wanted to make. It's an old recipe. They were nice, soft molasses cookies, and they were delicious. I never got tired of them. They would last
Never.
for months. You put them in a nice plastic container. Now, you used to put a slice of bread in the jar when you put all the cookies in the cookie jar, so it would keep them moist and soft. Now they put them in a Tupperware container and.
But it's hard for me not to put that piece of bread in there.
I know.
It's like it's what we always did.
Tradition.
But that's a big part, which again, we should be talking about this next week, but it is what it is. That the cookies back then, all of this stuff was not as sweet. If you had one of our great grandmother's molasses cookies, you would see that it is a breadier. It's sweet, but it's not. To me, when I eat some cookies today, they are so sweet. I can hardly
You
bear
can't
them.
tell that it's not just sugar. This was molasses, and it had its molasses taste, and there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
The cookies would be soft, and originally when they made them, they were about that big. They were really huge cookies, and you put them in the the jar or whatever you put them in, and with that slice of bread in it, they would. Well, if people didn't get at them right away, they would last for quite a while. You know.
And I would kind of, what do you call it? Doggone it, I forgot to age them. We would make them, and I would put them into the containers with the bread, and like a couple weeks before Christmas. There was something about them, the flavors maturing in that time, that they tasted.
I like them anyway
even
at all.
better.
I'd take them right off the cookie sheet if I could get them.
Yeah.
They were good. But I did make them smaller because it was unnecessary to eat a cookie that size. As good as it was.
Yeah, I know. We make them smaller. Keep telling us we're not eating as many calories. We
That's
just eat more cookies
That's
because
true.
they don't have that many calories. Well, another thing that I really, really like doing when my kids were little is having toy parties. I would only do that, as a what do you call it? Hostess, and like a Tupperware party, or we had Stanley home parties, we had Fuller brush parties.
Right.
They were the ones I did and
Where?
stuff. Yeah, yeah. And this was all toys. And I gotta say, they probably were not the best toys in the world. But it was one of the ones we had. I'd gotten a nativity and you crank it up and it plays Silent Night and turns around with the little thing. That wasn't, I guess that was a toy for me. But I did get the kids tops, you'd musical tops. So you'd pump them on the top and they'd whirl around
Yeah,
and whistle or something.
that's the truth.
And we got bye-bye cars, which were they were a little tinier than Matchbox cars, but they came in a little carrier. So when we'd go somewhere, we'd tell the kids, "Bring your bye-bye cars," and they would take their little cars and be off to wherever we were
I
going.
wouldn't play with them for the rest of the day till it was time to pick them up and go home.
Yeah, probably not.
They're playing with somebody else's toys. You're going to somebody else's house.
Well, what kind of toys did you like to get your kids?
You know, they were so easy. I would like to have always got them the best thing of the year, but the one, of course, the first one I remember is Yvonne when she was a little. I don't know. She was over a year old. It was the Barbie Dream House, because Barbie was brand new at the time, and I wasn't going to be outdone. So I buy the Dream House, but of course you don't realize until 8 o'clock at night that Dream House has to be put together. It's cardboard.
And it's not easy.
Punch it out and put it together, and pray that your 1.5-year-old child isn't going to sit on it. And so for hours, Donald and I sat there and built Barbie's dream house.
Put tab A into slot A.
Oh my God! And sometimes it works, and sometimes not so much. And she didn't care. Just give me my breakfast and give me something you got to wrap paper, rip. That was a whole lot more fun than Barbie Dream House. But we worked hard at it. We were glad we did it. She had it for a couple of years. It got less and less impressive as the time went on. But she enjoyed it. Enjoyed seeing her play with it. Of course, for the first week, you want to give me the house. You don't have to play with it now. You want it to not get all rumpled up.
Yeah, and
The present wasn't for me.
Huh?
The present wasn't for me.
No.
I just remember the kids should get the present.
Yeah, that Barbie Dream House did not change that much, because when Mimi was about 2 or 3, I got her one. And it was the same thing, putting it together. Of course, I put it together alone. Her father was not much into that kind of thing. And then it's like it's going to get broken right away. It's freaking cardboard, And that's another thing about the past. In the past, we got way fewer things, but they were way better things.
And they were usually something we really wanted
And
have wanted for a long time, not for 2 days before Christmas.
Yes, yeah. And when we got a dollhouse, and if we go take 3 steps, take the step to our mom's age, that would be a wooden, beautiful dollhouse with handmade furniture and stuff. When we got to my dollhouse, it was metal, and it was painted, and all the furniture was kind of painted on the walls.
But your doll could fit in there.
Their doll could, and honest to God, I'd sit in bed, and my little table was across from me. I could see my little dollhouse, and I wanted to shrink down and live in the little dollhouse with my little
You've always had
husband
such a great imagination.
and my little children, and which was really stupid. There's no way we all, and it, of course, it was wide open on the front, so you'd fall out.
But you don't think about that. Your imagination took over.
Dreams.
I know one of the things I really wanted to get for Christmas every year, or my birthday, whatever, I loved paper dolls. Paper dolls, you would get the book. Everything was printed in the book. You can't even find anything like that nowadays. Anyway, one of the heavier duty pages made out of cardboard would be Punch Out Doll. She'd be like a model, and she'd be with her little shorts on or whatever. And
she was a little girl, not a Barbie girl.
no, she was a little girl, like a 10-year-old girl, you'd say roughly. And every page that you turned was different outfits, and you would cut them out, and they had little tabs on the shoulders and on the arms. So you take your doll, you punch her out, she's all set. You cut out your little dress and pants or whatever, and you put the little tabs over the shoulders, and you squeeze them in there. There you go, beautiful. Put her on and now you've got a different page, and she's got shorts in there, or a bathing suit, or an evening gown. You could entertain yourself for days with those. Then when you ran out of fun things to do, you got a nice pad of paper and you made your own doll clothes. I love that.
And the dolls came with little stands, so it was
Yeah.
a cardboard cutout, but you could put it in there and it'd stand. The simplicity. Our lives are so busy these days and so complex. Now that's a double-sided sword. I'll tell you that in a second. But it was so much simpler. Yes, we were busy. Yes, we were running around, especially as young parents and stuff. But the whole energy of life was better. I'm sorry, because I know every generation says their generation was the best. But
Too bad we didn't
it was
realize
a
that
golden
at the time.
age. We really had a golden age there where
We didn't appreciate it like we should have, but
well if we
do now.
yeah, if we realized what it was, we wouldn't let it get the way things are. Like back in our day, everybody could be expected to have a job that would take care of their family with one person employed, and they could buy their own house. And for a lot of people, that's not a part of the dream anymore, but it can be, because if it ever was, it can be again. And a piece of that is not to get carried away. Having one present and a couple of little presents on the side. And of course, Santa will always bring that stocking with an orange in the toe and nuts and then a few toys. We really if you think about it and how much stuff you got, we could probably do very well spending less and enjoying it way more. As a minimalist,
Well, and kids
That's
used to
it for me.
play by themselves differently than they do now. They have to be entertained now. They have to have a mechanical or computerized something. You used to take your paper doll and you go, I'm going to go to the grocery store today, and here comes Meg coming the other way, and we're going to go to the grocery store together, and and you make a whole afternoon of it, and it was fine. Then you could go make her a new dress on a pad. You just make a different color, and I was occupied for weeks. And I know a lot of kids don't even know what a paper doll is. I should see if I could find one.
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. I can't believe it, but we are just about out of times. And I don't think I got next to anything done on my list. But we got a few things knocked out. So we're going to be back again.
Yes, we are.
We are, and we may have, like I say, some food. We may not.
Yes.
But it's going to be good because, why? Because we love you.
We'll try to say all the things that you want to hear about from what we in the past and stuff. This is going to be a hard Christmas for me because Don's going to be gone. And I know it's going to hurt, but we had a great life. We did some good stuff. And I just want you to know. Well, I was crazy about the past, the way things were. We were very lucky, and I'll miss him very much.
And we have to just keep going, and we have to live the life that they would want us to live. I know for
Absolutely.
me, losing Sammy was tragic, and losing Tristan from my day-to-day life was double tragic. And so I'm 5 or 6 years down the road now from that, and it still hurts a lot. But
Well, I think
there's
we just
so
decided when we were walking.
Yeah.
I think it was you mentioned that it's been 6 months today, tomorrow, the 20th.
Yep.
Since he passed away.
Yeah, and even at 7 years, 6 years with as it is for me with Sammy, and of course losing our
You
parents
never
and all, it's
forget,
not
you
the
don't
same
want
when
to.
they're no. It's something that whatever it is in the world that's troubling you, whether it's COVID or RSV or an elderly parent or the loss or anything, we must take the good days and hold those in our heart. And we are really in charge of controlling the world of tomorrow, which I shouldn't have said yet because we're not there yet.
Well, it's nice to know that we're older than you people are, of course. Probably most people that are watching. But we're happy in our life in general. We're happy. Things happen. Horrible things happen. Sad things happen. But we're happy.
Yeah.
and we're making it work. Everybody can do that. All you have to do is just try.
Yeah, you know, Unity had a song that I really loved. It's called "We Make Our Own World," and every day we get up in the morning, we decide to make it a good day, even if crappy things happen. We do our best to take every minute that we can and make it good. That way, when we look back, we'll see more colorful, wonderful things.
It's the truth.
So, Merry This Day, Christmas. That is part one. I'm hoping there's going to be a part 2 and 3 and so to go.
We've got a few days.
We got a few days. So you have a great day and we will see you in cyberspace.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.